Hey everyone, Admiral Prince Eric and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to showcasing about the Dockyard Event in 2024. There will be the first one is the Top-tier American Battleship Wisconsin. And yes, a member of the Iowa-class Battleship using the combat instructions. Right now in this public test 13.3. We'll see right now in this progression right now, and I will see right now to a Dockyard progression, but some cases we're going to see right now. Okay, so let's get started. Alright, hey, but don't forget to like, subscribe and click the bell notification icon, so I will post my World of Warships content on every weekends. So let's get started to it and I will see right to it. Okay, let's head on for the Dockyard event. Accordingly, the Dockyard event will be start on update 30.3 until it ends in the update 30.6. Not sure why for the Dockyard combat missions supposedly for that until in the update 30.5 or so forth. Just have to be wait. Right now in this public test, I will show you right now for a Dockyard progression for Wisconsin. And I will tell you about the ship in the history, as well as the gameplay in World of Warships soon in the future, once on the Okay, so here it is, that already the first page that already underway took on Dockyard combat missions for public test took on 1 day ago, and now we decided to look it forward for the Dockyard. Unfortunately, I didn't activate for a starter patch right now because it's disappeared. Just waiting up to it and going to complete entirely. So I'm gonna do now the collect some rewards that already through it for a progressing the Dockyard combat mission. Guys, this is a test server that still on work in progress, but I hope right now for the live server ahead in April. So let's wait until the animation was installed. Okay, so here we are for the page completion right now for applying starter packs. So be sure to apply the starter packs before heading out for the Dockyard combat missions to do it for it in matter of weeks. So accordingly, the smooth sailing the 2 ship beauty pages is about 3,200 doubloons. Full ahead will give 12,000 doubloons. It consists 9 ship beauty pages. So I will gonna recommend the smooth sailing is 2 ship beauty pages at the cost of 3,200 doubloons, guys. So you should gonna need to acquire doubloons from an in-game, but please note I have very unaware for gambling consequences right now, so have to take a vigilant. So in this public test we show you right now for the completion of the Dockyard Wisconsin right now. So let's get started. Let's take on complete with doubloons. Okay, in every ship beauty pages will be definitely cost 2,100 doubloons. That it will tire of it, you get 39,900 doubloons for the last remaining thing. Oh, by the way, the ship building page 20 you receive a tier 7 American Battleship West Virginia 44, and I'm gonna see right now the first, the specifications about the top tier Wisconsin right now. So let's start off to get for the Dockyard animation for Wisconsin. Here are some rewards that are available at it so far, but I would definitely right now to see for Wisconsin. So let's complete this let's complete this page completion right now. I have truly expanded for doubloons, but this is going for the public test. So I have to collect these rewards: West Virginia 44, the tier 7 American Battleship, and the Wisconsin, the top tier of American Battleship. Get it on? Okay guys, when you complete it for this, I will show right now the shipbuilding process from the beginning right now on how to construct the Battleship Wisconsin at the dockyard. Here we go. Here she goes, the Battleship Wisconsin. Yeah, we finally completed Wisconsin. So here is the American Battleship Wisconsin, a member of the Iowa-class Battleship. So I have to start right now shipbuilding process at the beginning. So let's go how she does right now for Wisconsin's construction. Here we go. So immediately the Battleship Wisconsin was laid down supposedly in early 1940s at the time. So guys, I will going to explain about the ship's history about the USS Wisconsin, as well as the gameplay specifications right now after doing the shipbuilding process. Remember what I said, in the processing to construct the ship, you have to lay down the ship at the dry dock. Immediately, you wanted to construct the hull. Then, immediately wanted to install the engines, generators, turbines, and so on. This is going to be the first Dockyard event in 2024. And the third of the tier 10 ships to be appearance in this dockyard. The first one was on Puerto Rico, and the second one is Pan-Asian Destroyer Lucian that took place last year. Here goes, they are going to installation of our beds on the hull. Once it finishes construction of the hull, then immediately the ship's launch for a ceremony. Then after the launching the hull on this ship, the ship is about to begin a fitting out. Just see what happens. It seems the hull of the ship is finally completed its construction and ready to be launched. There you go. Here comes the ship's launching to be a ceremonial. Once after the ship's launching, the ship's fitting out is about to commence. Some of these ship's parts about the island superstructure, main battery installations, radars, fire control systems, and anti-aircrafts. Also, the aviation facilities. We'll see about that. There it goes. The ship has finally completed right now, and they began the sea trials and finally commissioned to the US Navy. So it is the finalized construction of the American Battleship Wisconsin. Okay, so let's take it on the ship's history right now, and I will explain right to this. There she is, the American Battleship Wisconsin with this permanent camouflage. Although that permanent camouflage was usually at the time in the early 1900s or simply the early 20th century. Here's the name Wisconsin, as well as the battleship's pennant number, BB-64. What a looking standard coincidence of these classic battleships ever made it seem. Okay guys, so let's dive too deep in about the ship's history. So USS Wisconsin was named after the US state of Wisconsin that was admitted to the Union in the late 1840s. It was probably 1848 after the after the admission of the Union is Iowa. So that recognized a member of the Iowa-class battleship, and call sign that I recognize it, BB-64. I'm sorry, call sign is Old Whiskey, and the battleship pennant number is 64. Was laid down in the shipyard in the early 1940s, and until its ship's commission in the 1944 during the Second World War at the time. She is the member of the Iowa-class battleship to be entered service, although the last of them was recognized is the Missouri. Wisconsin entered service in the Pacific War theater campaign took place in World War II, but this battleship was fought in the battles against the Japanese fleet, notably the Battle of the Philippine Sea, the Iwo Jima, and Okinawa. Although Wisconsin does not participate, the Japanese instrumental surrender only to be taking care of the Missouri. After the Second World War, the battleship was made in the training sessions throughout the time until the ship was decommissioned in 1948. Then, in the 1950s, when the ship was recommissioned at this time at the Korean War, notably, the Wisconsin major actions in the Korean War was in main battery firing its targets on North Korean positions. After the Korean War, one of the incidents on this ship came to be struck was a US destroyer, USS Eaton, came on the collision. Well, as you can see, the Wisconsin's bow right now, you see like this is a bow. That bow of the Wisconsin was slightly damaged for a ramming US destroyer, USS Eaton. Although Wisconsin waited its decommission for its second time in 1958 until that ship was reactivated in the 1980s. In the 1980s though, under US President Ronald Reagan made the bow for the Secretary of the Navy about the ship, the 600-ton ship, was to prevent any measures about to countering against the Soviet Union. As a result, Wisconsin was reactivated and about to modernize. Some of these anti-aircraft armaments were installed on Wisconsin were removed because of ineffectiveness against modern jet fighters, some of which the Bofors and Oerlikon guns were removed aboard the ship, and the installation of the famous well-known the missiles such as the Tomahawks, Sea Sparrows, and Palan CIWS. Notice about the Palan CIWS appeared in aboard the ship superstructure is usually installed on the funnels. However, the aviation facilities for Wisconsin has been major change. Among of them is the aircraft catapult being removed, and it was placed on landing helipad. Plus, major modernization of this battleship was a radar. More new modern radars appeared throughout in 1980s. Right now, to significant part of the extensive modernization. As a result, Wisconsin entered its final time of service in 1988. However, one of the most last battle using the battleship is the Persian Gulf War. when Iraqi invaded Kuwait at the time. Missouri fired a 60-inch guns against Iraqi's target positions to the ground. Well, significantly was a major success for a victory in the US. Although the battleship seems to be ended its service in the 1991, following after the imminent collapse of the Soviet Union and a drastic military defense budget was severely deemed economical. Until then, the Wisconsin was currently on reserve until she was struck by a naval vessel registered for 2 times. The first of them took place in the late 1990s, and the second one was on the final, took place in the 2000s. However, Wisconsin has been taken out to However, the US Navy set out the plans for Iowa-class battleships to be as a museum ship. Notably about this ship, Wisconsin was placed on as a museum ship, is now on a modern location at Nauticus in Norfolk, Virginia, still stands today. Although many possibilities right now on the activation of Iowa-class battleships will be significant in the future sometimes for emergencies. Okay, that's concluded right now about the ship's history. So let's talk about the ship specifications for a Wisconsin. Okay, so Wisconsin is a member of the Iowa-class battleship, took on the top tier of the spot. Unlike her sister ships, Iowa and Missouri, as well as Illinois. So definitely you should want to take a note part of it. Let's check out the armor layout. The armor layout is the same ahead like the Missouri and Iowa. The ship's superstructure is about 19mm. The side plating 38mm. Armor build consists 38mm. The fore end and up plating is about 32mm of armor. The deck is about 32mm. The conning tower is about 439mm. That was the highest of this armor thickness. The main battery turret is about the armor is about 432mm of frontal. The side plate is 241mm. The barbette is about 439mm. So basically this is going to be the same armor technique like the Iowas, but basically it's gonna be unusual. Okay, so let's check out the whole of the ship armor. So basically the armor belt is about 307mm, although it's the same armor belt like the Iowas. The torpedo bulkhead 58mm. So definitely the same armor just like the Iowas. So let's talk about the survivability. Unlike the Iowa-class battleships, Wisconsin hit points is about 81,100, the highest hit points of this tier. Just like Iowa's hit points is 79,000 and Missouri does. Torpedo protection damage reductions about 25% is the same. The main battery consists the same armament was used for Iowa's 406mm 60-inch 50 Mark 7 guns, 3x3 406mm, capable of ammunition of Mark 8 super heavy shells and also HE shells. The HE shell is 406mm HE at C Mark 13. The damage is about 5,700, and the AP shell 406mm AP Mark 8 super heavy. The damage is about 13,500. The initial velocity of HE shells is 820 meters per second, and the AP shell is 762 meters per second. The reload time is about 30 seconds. Always it does, the Iowas are always 30 seconds. It's usually the same. The dispersion is about 244 meters. The range is about 23.4 kilometers. The secondary armament which comes always the Iowa class. The 127mm 38 Mark 12 on a Mark 32 turret mount. Firing range is about 7.3 kilometers. Reload time is 6 seconds. The ammunition type 127mm HE Mod 32. It damages about 1,800. Chances of causing fire 5%. Armor penetration capacity 21mm. Velocity is about 792 meters per second. So it's usually all of the Iowa-class battleships is usually the same, particularly for a game. The airstrikes consist depth charge airstrikes. They are 2 attack flights capable of devastating the anti-submarine weaponry. The reload time is about 30 seconds. The range is 11 kilometers. The bomb damage is about 4,900. There will be 2 bombs on payload. Okay, so AA defense, just like the Iowas. The 20mm Oerlikon guns about 49 by 1, 20mm. Firing range. Next one, the Bofors 40mm guns, 20 by 4. The lastly is usually the same armament, but it will serve use as anti-aircraft guns. Continuous damage is about 439. Damage by shell explosions 1,680. The priority sector reinforcement 35%. The AA fighter range is about 5.8 kilometers at the time. Okay, so maneuverability, unlike the Iowa-class battleships though, is the rudder shift time is 17.2 seconds. The speed is about 32.5 knots or 33 knots. The turning circle radius is about 920 meters. It's usually the same just like her sister ships Iowa and Missouri. Consume as it does. Without commander skills and upgrades, there will be a 50.9 kilometers. Detectability range by depths is about 0 to 11.4 kilometers. Detectability range by air is the same. And finally, assured detectability range is about 2 kilometers. When you're fighting the main battle guns, it increases its detectability range. When you detectability after firing main smoke, you will get 15.8 kilometers. And detectability after firing a secondary gun shell is about 15.9 kilometers. And when detectability when the ship is on the fire is 17.9 kilometers. So basically all of the ship specifications just like the same for Iowa and Missouri. Now let's talk about the upgrades. My recommended upgrades is usually the same thing ahead like Iowa and Missouri. But on the 6th slot is always priority. The artillery plotting mod 2. But it improves the dispersion. Or you wanted to take a main battery mod 3 to reduce its reload time. So I will use the main armaments mod 1 for the first slot. The second slot is always a damage control system mod 1. Now the third slot I can only 2 options. Whether just like the Iowa is always the artillery plotting room mod 1. It helps them to increase its fighting range as well as the secondary battery fighting range. Also the maximum secondary battery shell dispersion is 5%. Is usually top notch recommended. So I will take care of this upgrade. The fourth slot is always damage control system mod 2. The fifth slot is the concealment system mod 1. It's very important for battleships. Now on the final slot I will take the artillery plotting room mod 2 for US battleships to be mounted. Okay, one of the most features of the Wisconsin is the immediate systems reload. One of these special consumables. Okay, these are the tier 10 combat instructions to be featured on Wisconsin. It comes with parameters, hit enemy ships with your main guns to increase your completion progress with each hit. If you are inactive, you start losing your progress. When your progress reaches 100%, it cannot be lost. To activate combat instructions, press the F key button. Here are the parameters. Progress per main battery shell hit is about 6%. time of inactivity before progress lost 50 seconds. Progress loss per second of inactivity is about 5%. Some of these activation effect for are parameters. The main battery reload time will be reduced to 50%, and consumable preparation and reload time is about minus 80%. The action time duration for only 20 seconds. Unlike Iowa about the consumables, it's usually the same thing. The damage control party, repair party, and always the spotting aircraft or a catapult fighter. Now, one of the features of Wisconsin is the defensive AE fire. Can only to be used that when your enemy plane spotted at you immediately, try to use this consumable. But her sister ship Missouri has its surveillance radar. Okay? So let's take care of one last thing effort to do for commander skills. The commander skills are going to be survivability, or you wanted to change something, parallel course. Okay, so I'm gonna best looking out to recruit this one. Okay, so my idea about the battleship build. So the first 10 skill points: emergency repair specialist, expert marksman, adrenaline rush, and consummate expert. Now for the all of the skill points are the following. It's usually the emergency repair expert, the fire prevention, risk, and lastly gun feeder. Gun feeder is equivalent for expert loader. So here's my recommended build so far right now for this Iowa class. Oh, sorry, Wisconsin. So here it is. When your ship gets an upgrade with the commander skills, the detectability range by sea is about 12.9 kilometers so far. The detectability range by depth is about 9.3 kilometers from zero. Detectability range by air will be the same, and the sure detectability range is going to be 2 kilometers at the time with an upgrade. So that's it all, folks. Right now I'm ready for my finalize ahead the Wisconsin. So technically I will get that as for my birthday ship without using a gambling from online money right now, but I have doubloons from in-game process. So I don't want to be expended on gambling right now for this year to do something for a business. So that's all for today right now, and going for my concluded this video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my video. To like, subscribe, and click the bell on notification icon, so I will going to see the epic action for Wisconsin on live server right now. So basically, you know about that after my birthday wish is going to get this American Battleship Wisconsin, but last time about Lucian did not get it. I'm very sorry for my inactivity so far. So we'll see up ahead the Wisconsin Dockyard Event in the live server on April. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you see you in my next video. Peace out, guys, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell on the notification icon. See you guys in my next video.